Hey y'all, welcome back to Brave Kids Art Club. My name is Brad, and I'm super excited to be here today. Are you guys excited? Awesome. Well, before I introduce our animal today, I have a really quick favor to ask you. Is that okay? It benefits you. Okay, perfect. I need you to tell your parents what your favorite animal is, or animals if you have multiples. Can you do that for me? Now, parents, I need you to contact me and let me know what their favorite animals are. So you can do that with all the information down below. There's our email, there's our Facebook group page, there's also our Instagram, which is Brave Kids Art Club, and you can direct message us. But just let us know what your kids' favorite animals are, and we'll add them to the list for future episodes. Does that sound good? Kids, that sounds good too? Perfect. I'm really excited to see what your favorite animals are, and I bet you a lot of you are gonna say the same animals, and that'll be really cool to see like which ones are your favorites. But for today's animal, I'm just gonna tell you what their name means, and you're gonna guess what the animal is. So the name means thorny pig. Can you guess what it is? Okay, it is a porcupine. Porcupine? Porcupine. It's spelled porcupine, but is it porcupine? I don't know. But regardless, the porcupine's a really cool animal, and it may look hard to draw, but it's really not that hard. So let me help you out. Grab your stuff and let's get started. And when I say stuff, of course, I mean our sheet of paper. We need a clean sheet of paper. We need to get ourselves out a nice sharpened pencil with an eraser. If you don't have an eraser on your pencil, grab an eraser because we're gonna do some what? Sketching. Of course, we're gonna do some sketching first. And then after we sketch, we're gonna do some outlines with our dark marker or our pen. And then at the very end, my favorite part, we are going to do some coloring. And I'm going to use my big bag of markers, and you can use crayons, colored pencils, watercolors, whatever you want. Yeah, it's up to you. Okay, so let's start with our sketch. Now, I did mention that maybe it looks hard to draw. That's just because there's a lot of lines. There's a lot of quills. It's those little long needle-like things on the back that can stick in you. They have a lot of those, so it seems like it's harder to draw, but it's really not hard to draw. So what we're first going to do is not worry about drawing the quills. We don't need to worry about drawing the quills. I know that's the most important part to make it look like a porcupine, but we're just going to draw the shape of the body first. And you'll see why. Okay, so let's do the main body. Now I'm going to do kind of like a gumdrop. Do you know what a gumdrop is? It's kind of like a half a circle. It's kind of like a dome shape. And I'm going to kind of do it right over here maybe. Let's see. Right here. There we go. Leave a little bit of room on this side, so maybe move your dome this way a little bit, or your gumdrop that way, because we're going to want to fit the head on here. But we're going to go, and it's not really, there you go, that's looking pretty good. Kind of how we started out for the turtle, if you did the turtle drawing with me. We're going to do that dome there, and then we'll kind of do a really loose bottom on that. It's kind of crooked, isn't it? There you go. Next, we're going to go put the head on here, and the head's just not going to go to the very top. It's not going to match the top. It's going to be right here on the left-hand side and just a little bit down. So I'm going to kind of go really loose, kind of oval right here. Okay? Okay, now let's add the front arms. We'll kind of do a little backwards C right here. Looks pretty good. That's going to be the front arm, and you can see it's actually going to run from the bottom. This will be the chin, and it's going to run from there all the way down to here. Did you get that? Take a good look. And then we'll take the other arm, and we'll have it kind of come out back here. So now that we've drawn, actually, even before you draw that line, let's erase everything that's on this side of this line. We're not going to need it anymore. There we go. This looks kind of weird, but I promise it'll all make sense in a second. So okay, we don't need that stuff up there in the front anymore. And this can kind of go down a little bit, but let's do the other arm coming out. So let's just have it kind of come down like this, like he's kind of holding his hand out here. Like that. And then have it come back. So we'll kind of give it just like a little play. You don't have to draw individual fingers. You can just kind of have it round off right there. And then down here, we can kind of do the same thing that we did over here. We kind of rounded it off. like that for the foot in the front. Now I know this looks kind of funky, but it'll all start coming together as we add more body parts here. Okay, so let's do the back leg. We'll kind of have them sitting down. And we'll do a C shape, but it's a really like stretched out C. And then have it stop right there. Let's have it stop right there at the line, so it's a little bit further up. And then we're going to add that other foot. And it's okay if you kind of messy with the foot right now. It's not important at the moment what it looks like. All right, so you're starting to see that. This is looking really big, so maybe we kind of make that a little bit smaller. We'll kind of do it a little bit smaller there. We don't want that hand being huge. Now, if you didn't know already, porcupines are rodents. They're in the rodent family. That's with like rats and mice. And they're huge, though, compared to rats and mice, which is crazy. They're actually the third biggest rodent in the world. Really, really big. And it's kind of funny, the name was thorny pig, but we call them rodents. But I think it's the thorny pig because of the nose. The nose on these you'll see in a second, which let's draw right now, actually, because that's what makes it look like a kind of a pig. They got a really big nose. Okay, so we're going to draw kind of a line right here, a diagonal line. And we kind of did a loose circle here because it wasn't really how his face looks. I say he because this is actually, I've already named him. I already got it in my mind. It's Teddy. Teddy. I got Teddy here, which is kind of the opposite of a teddy bear because you don't want to hug these guys with all those quills. Okay, so maybe I'm going to make this, I should probably make that a little bit bigger. The head should be a little bit further out. So let's make that, we got that line, have it come down over here. And it kind of got a, like I said, big nose. So we'll bring it down, we'll kind of round it up. Just take this whole thing, round it up, and then bring it right back up here for a little smiley face. That's going to be the top of their mouth right there. And if it doesn't make sense, let's draw a nose right here so it does make sense. Remember how we did with the llama? I don't know if you did the llama drawing yet. But that one's nose, we kind of drew kind of like a heart. That's what we're going to do on this one too. And then you just draw a line straight down. You can draw that a little bigger, a little lower. There you're going to draw it straight down and then the smile right there. Then if we do that, let's make the big eyeball. I want to make a big eyeball right here. So we'll add a circle. And then we'll probably have them looking down right over here. So we'll draw that pupil in. There you go, just kind of looking off to the side. And it doesn't have to be too rounded here. I'm going to try to, I don't know how to explain that a little bit, but it's a little bit more like a rounded square on the edge of this. But you can kind of draw it however you want. If you want to add like a little bottom like lip there, you can. But I'm going to kind of start it maybe like towards the middle of this and make sure that that arc there for the arm kind of starts towards the middle. I had it a little too far back. But since we're sketching, that's fine. We can see where that's at. Okay, so we see his smile, we see his nose. And then this is where we're going to just kind of lightly round it off just to connect to there. Why? Because you're actually not going to see that. You're going to see the quills that are going to shoot up and it's going to be all spiky looking. But for now, we just want to make sure that we know where the body is. So if it didn't have any quills, this is probably what their head would look like. It would just be all flat on the top. Now, one thing everybody thinks about with the quills and with porcupines is that they can shoot their quills out at people or out at animals. That's not true. They don't shoot them at all. But what they do is they'll swing their tail and they'll hit them, or another animal will kind of come up and try to attack them. And the needles or the quills are really, really loose. So if they touch them, they get stuck on the animal. They have like little barbs, little spikes on the ends of them that you can't really see, but they're little spikes on each of the quills, and they get stuck in you. So you have to be really careful because they can whip that tail and get a ton of them. They have 30,000 spikes on their body. So, or I keep calling them spikes because they look like spikes, but they're quills. They have 30,000 quills in their body. That's crazy. Okay, but so what we're drawing is like the main body because they don't necessarily just have quills. They also have hair, and we'll kind of draw that in. All right, so man, I guess, oh, ear. That's what I was going to look for. We got to draw the ear. So we're going to draw that kind of high up here. Maybe like right over here, and just a little bitty ear right there. Sound good? Little ear, it's a little backwards C. And I think we're pretty good. I probably should have moved them a little over to the left, but that's okay. It'll just leave a little bit less room for the quills, but you'll see what we're gonna do. Okay, now, if you've already done this, take a good look at what we've got going on here. Make sure you kind of fix up your sketch if you need to fit it however you'd like to make your porcupine. And then we're going to get out our marker and we're gonna do some outlining. Now, do not outline everything. Be very, very careful. So I'm gonna give you a warning real quick. Don't outline everything. Follow exactly what I do so you can see what we're gonna do after this. Okay, I've warned you. Let's start with the head. We're only gonna do this part right here. We're gonna start right here and work our way down. And I'm gonna kind of round it off here. And then give the smiley. There's a little smiley face. Okay. Now let's do the nose. Let's see. We'll do the other little nostril. There we go. Let's do the eye. That's one thing we can do here. Those circles are a little scary. Okay, now I'm going to draw the pupil in here. Okay, I think the bigger that pupil, the cuter the animal looks, or the nicer it looks. So I'm going to do a big pupil in here. Because they don't just smack you and try to get their quills in you for no reason. It's just if they get upset or they're scared by something, like another animal that's trying to get them. And what they'll do is, they'll swing that at them. But before that, they actually, some of them, I think the North American porcupines, you don't really see the quills. They kind of lay down so it looks like hair. But when they get upset, they can shoot them straight up, not shoot them out of their body. They can just stick straight up and they look a lot bigger and it scares off other animals. And they kind of shake and things like that so you can hear the quills rattle. So it does other things before it just hits you with them. Okay, so let's do this ear. We can definitely do the ear. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little line right here to make it look like it's folded over. Just an easy way to do that. And then, let's see, what do I have left? Okay, I'll do part of it. I'm actually just going to go part way down and then stop. Maybe I'll just stop like right there, right before the foot. It's not really an exact science, but we'll just stop right there before the foot. We're not going to do any of the back, but we are going to do the arm. We want to make sure that we have a really well-defined shape for the arm. Okay? And for the back knee. We're going to do that one too. We don't need to worry about this arm quite yet. Then let's do the feet. Right there. Need to draw the nice long feet because they're actually really good climbers. They didn't used to be, but they've evolved to be really good climbers. They climb trees. Okay, and we're just going to draw just the foot. That's it. We're not going to draw the lines over here. Just the foot right here. That's why it's important that we sketch so we know what we're drawing. Okay, now do you see what we're doing? So we have just some of the lines here, the main lines that don't really need too much of the quills or the fur. And we're leaving just the areas where we're going to do a lot with the fur. Now, I didn't want to have to do, you can do this with a pencil first if you'd rather be able to see what it's going to look like. For example, I'm going to take the hair. It's actually not just hair. It's like, well, it is hair and quills. But I'm going to kind of stick them up for my porcupine right there. And then I'm going to have some shoot off the back over here. But you can draw those in if it helps you as a little guide. But for me, I think I'm just going to start drawing with my pen, which is kind of freaky. So if that scares you, you don't want it to be super permanent, then do your pencil first and map out where you want to put your quills, and then start outlining them with your marker or your pen. Okay, I'm going to try this out and see what happens. think that's the last quill I'm gonna put on here. Does this make a whole lot more sense what I was talking about? Now that we didn't color in those, or we didn't add those lines because we didn't want them to show up underneath, we just wanted to show the quills. So that was just acting kind of as a guide for us, so we knew where the body was, so we knew where to put those quills. And these quills can be as long as you want. They have some really, really long ones, and so you can have them go all the way out really far. You can have them stick them straight out. Do whatever you want. This is just how I did it, and it's not the best way. It's just my way. So I want to see your way. Now I'm going to just draw little lines here for the feet. Right here in the, just little lines, real easy ones. Oh, he's looking pretty darn cute. Okay, so as long as he doesn't open up his mouth, because those rodents have the really long teeth in there, doesn't make them look so cute. That's actually, those teeth just keep growing and growing and growing. They never stop growing. That's why they like gnaw on things, they chew on things, so that they stay shorter. It's pretty crazy. Imagine if our teeth did that. I might have some really long teeth if no one really ate anything hard enough to grind them down. Okay, so now we need to get rid of that undersketch, get rid of all the pencil marks, especially for me because I'm going to be using my markers and it will show up. And it looks kind of cool. It's like a little bit of a magic trick. When you erase all this, you're like, oh, look, the whole thing shows up. You don't see that body underneath at all, and it just looks all like little quills. That's pretty cool. I might want to make some of these longer, but I don't know. I always want to change things. Do you guys ever do that? Do you ever just want to, like, after you make something, you're like, oh, I could have done that different? That happens to me a lot. Actually, after I finish a project, I'll look back on it like a week later and I'll be like, oh, I wish I did this. So you're not the only one if you're feeling that. I feel that a lot. I always feel like I can improve on my own drawings. But it's kind of more important than just going back and fixing them, is just to do something else and take all that knowledge that you had and work on something new. Cool, well Teddy's looking great. I think I'm just gonna add some color, kind of like some fur as well. I'm gonna do like a solid shape in there. I'm gonna add some kind of fur strokes with the markers because they do have that hair mixed in with their quills. It's not just quills like I was saying. So we're gonna kind of mix that in, and sometimes they have like, it looks like they have little spots on them and things. We'll find some way to do that, but you go ahead, have fun coloring, and we'll catch up right after. Well, I really like how Teddy turned out. I hope yours turned out great and you're happy with it. And when we're proud of what we do, what do? Yeah, that's right. We put our name on our work. So I'm going to go ahead and sign my name here in the bottom corner so everybody knows that I made this and that they know I'm proud that I made it. Well, I hope you learned some fun facts about porcupines and you had a really fun time drawing yours. I know I did. Thank you guys so much for drawing with me. Every time you do this, it just makes my day. So thank you. Make sure that if you enjoyed this video to give it a like and then subscribe, because we do these videos Monday through Friday every single week, and I'd love to see you around. So, and as always, be brave, be creative, and be you. Alrighty, we'll see you guys next time.